earnings stuff? Did we even
Yeah,
talk about
speaking
that?
of shining bright,
because of the
speaking of
whole
shining
guy with
bright
the
like a
stuff.
star in the sky,
shine bright like a
do
diamond.
you ever feel like a plastic bag floating
What
in?
has happened
Sorry,
to
you guys
us?
aren't here to listen
What
to
has
me sing Katy
happened
Perry.
to a poor
Okay,
show?
so on the earnings
You
call,
have a vocoder for that.
oh yeah, I do. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. People get 15
Guys, I
minutes
wanna-
to be singing Katy
All I
Perry
want to do is nap.
like this.
No, this is my nightmare.
Okay, so and I may do another video on this because basically the earnings call was the news about the earnings call was completely buried from Elon's comments about the COVID stuff, but they actually did really well. So. Go Tesla. They're doing well. They showed a $16 million profit. They had record revenues, all this stuff. Really, one of the big ones was the gross margin. So how, before you spend money on other things, just the car itself, how is it doing in terms of profit? 20.6%. For that's GAAP gross margin. For automobile gross margin, 25.5%. So that's huge, man. I mean, they're killing it. Like every car they're making tons of money and they're doing really well. They showed a $16 million profit. Net income is the term you look for on the balance sheet, which is down quarter over quarter, a huge amount, but is great for Q1 because Q1 traditionally doesn't do very well. Yeah, so, and given the shutdown and all these other things, like something we haven't really talked about too is the factory was shut down starting the very last week of Q1. So production wasn't affected greatly. But deliveries also have been shut down for over a month now here in California. So it's nuts. Like I've been itching to get my Model Y. I literally had, pulled out the cash, ready to do all the things. And it's like, oh yeah, sorry, we can't deliver it. We can't even do home touchless deliveries or anything. So that's going to be a huge problem in Q2. But given all that, they still showed a profit. They did well. Their cash reserves are up to $8.1 billion. This is largely due to the, I forget what it was, 2.6 or 2.7 billion in capital raise that they did when the stock was super high in February, I believe. So in terms of how they're doing financially, very well. We'll see how Q2 handles or fares because it's obviously the shutdown is affecting things really dramatically. And so that's going to lead to a lot of challenges. Some other little notes here. Model Y deliveries began. We all saw me struggle to do 100 push-ups. Because of that, the Model S range was increased to 391 miles. However, Elon noted that, or Tesla noted in the call or in the statement here, that it should have been 400, but Consumer Reports, when they did the test, the EPA, when they did the test, overnight left the door open to the car. And so it went into standby mode and stayed on and lost a bunch of range.
Yeah,
so
2%.
Whoops.
Or he said, or they left the key in the car and it thought it wasn't that it? The key in the car? Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But the door opened, they said too.
Oh, that's
so
funny.
Okay.
Huh.
They also reached production of 1,000 solar roofs per week, which is great. Most of those installs are not happening because of the shutdown again. And Model Y really is a big story here, I think. Let me go down to some of the images they showed. First off, the Model Y factory in Shanghai is on its way, getting produced. You can kind of see that highlighted here and what's
That's
happening.
crazy.
So you've got the Model 3 one over here on the left. If you guys are listening, we're looking at basically two parallelograms. And on one side is basically the Model 3 factory, and the other side will be the Model Y. So that's coming along. They also announced a couple new things in China, the long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3, which they've discontinued in the U.S., so if you guys want to buy one, I may be selling mine soon. Anyways, and then some Model Ys coming there. Performance Model 3, long range rear wheel drive Model 3. China's humming along. Things are going well there. They also have the battery and module pack, which is coming along in China. And then down here, we have some images of the underbody. This is kind of like the service diagram. If you guys have ever seen any of the Tesla service manuals, this is what they look like. They're showing kind of the skeleton of a Model Y. And on the left, you have the Model 3, where the rear underbody, this is just one example, was 70 different pieces of metal. And on the right, you have the Model Y, where it's only 2 pieces of metal, and they want to get it down to a single piece. This is part of their whole wild new stamping thing that they're doing. And then they have an image of it here. So this is kind of, this is like when Tim shows off the Raptor engine things. Probably less sexy. But basically on the left, you have a Model 3 rear underbody, and on the right, a Model Y. And remember, these cars are almost identical in terms of a lot of these components. I think it was 76% of the components are the exact same or very similar, I guess you'd say. Like these two things look almost identical on your screen because they almost are. But of course, the one on the right, the Model Y, is much simpler to produce, which leads to reduced costs, which is how they're showing profit on it. Also, how they're able to produce it much faster. So
and
really
cheap,
interesting stuff.
And you can be stronger quality when you cast a single piece like that. A lot, or fewer pieces like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, reliability goes up. So the earnings call basically shown, hey, things are going well, or things did go well. They would have been even better had the shutdown not happened. And then Q2 is they basically removed all their guidance. So typically in an earnings call, you get, hey, this is how we did, and here's what we expect. So they'll put out guidance, basically forecasts. This year we plan on making 150,000 cars, whatever. Well, now they're like, yeah, we're just going to take all that back. We're not providing guidance on anything because we have no clue what the hell is going to happen from here. And I think that's understandable and that's fair. To me, the biggest news here, though, was the Model Y stuff. So if you guys remember, they announced the car in March 2019, and they started delivering in March of 2020. So that's 1 year from release date to delivery. That's unheard of. That's crazy. The Model 3 was like 2.5 years. The Model X, they are just really, really getting good at manufacturing. Yes. And so hopefully that bodes well for, I guess, the future of whatever they do.
Well, and they already are profitable in the first quarter on a brand new vehicle. That's gotta be unheard of. That's insane. And that's with lower sales than they're expecting. Everything. I mean, yeah, when they start employing these better and better manufacturing techniques and all this stuff throughout the rest of their fleet and upcoming products. I mean, Elon says all the time, he talks about how he's been focusing on manufacturing, that manufacturing is 1,000 times harder than the production or than the actual design of the item. Even with things like rockets, he keeps saying that, which is hard to imagine. You'd think building a rocket would be easy compared to all the little components and the crazy science and all that stuff, but he's like, nope, 1,000 times harder to manufacture than it is to design it in the first place.
The thing that gets me is when you look at this, and I know, Tim, you've been to the SpaceX factory, but have either of you guys been to the Fremont plant?
No, I have not.
So when you look at this, right? So we're looking at an image here of the underbody, these metal pieces. I mean, every single little dimple in the metal, every single little hole, every single little mark is for a reason, right? Somebody designed that. It's not just let me go copy and paste from this and there's all these grooves here. We don't need those. We're just going to keep them. Every single thing has an intention and was put there for a reason. And then when it goes to building that thing, you have to have all the pieces that build the thing also have their own intention. So I just remember going to the Fremont factory, looking at it, going my God, the amount of engineering and planning and design and everything that goes into every single little piece in the car is mind blowing, And so, if they, are able to do that faster and better than they ever have in the past, I mean, it's almost, I was thinking about doing a video on this, Tesla's master plan part trace is not necessarily a car, but it's factories. Can they have here's our blueprint for a gigafactory. Okay, here, let me just give this to the guys in Berlin. Okay, well, the land is a little bit different. Let's just survey it, tweak it a little bit. Okay, there you go. Spent an afternoon, and now we have the entire design of a factory. And they can just churn out factories like they can churn out cars. And then, maybe I'll be wrong, and they will be the only car company around in 15 years from now. We'll see. But Yeah,
Right.
I was really excited when I saw that. I was like, what? They didn't even talk about this.
And then the factories become sentient and turn the entire planet into a giant factory and send
Yep.
out von Neumann probes to deconstruct asteroids. And yeah,
There we are.
That's phase 5.
Well, it's like, remember iRobot, right? How like the sentient being determined that humans were the most like danger to themselves, so everyone has to just stay inside at their house. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess they were right. Here we are. The safest thing for us all to do is just to stay home. Perfect.
Hey, thanks for checking us out, guys. I hope you enjoyed this clip from our podcast.
We do a weekly show here on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe to Our Ludicrous Future, where we discuss all the things that are going to make our future totally ludicrous.
You can join us here on YouTube or at any of your favorite podcast places. Plus, if you want to get some behind-the-scenes stuff and join a cool community, you can help support the channel at patreon.com. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.